skeletal body.
Pop, 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 pop.
Hey, it's the girl Shensia with a message to you from myself and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Shen Yang, everyone see wear a mask where the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay your dung chat. Nose and mouth, you pick cover up that. Oh, 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 oh. Sanitize or get hospitalized. Fight the virus and fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause your test say you not have it. You can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause your test say you not have it. You can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive.
Domestic conflicts are not ignored by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, as they can result in serious injury or
Good
death.
afternoon, ma'am. I am Constable McIntyre, along with Constable Pierce. We received a telephone call re a domestic dispute at this location. Are you okay, ma'am?
Just me and my husband. We had a dispute. I was asking him some questions and he got all upset on me.
Yo, when I tell you to stop stressing me out, you're not here, you're not listen.
In these situations, we make sure that all parties involved are unharmed and prevent the situation from continuing or escalating. It's also our duty to inform the disputing parties that counseling is available to prevent a recurrence of the situation. If there is any evidence of harm to anyone, the police have a duty to commence an investigation. help us to keep you safe. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, a force for good.
Nah, click on your link for my liquor brother pre that slot bro, we no need that. And the next thing them type a song they are listening online, what kind of thing that some big man pose up on them profile and a put chat to a small child. Watch yourself on social media when you a post boxes, no do nothing too wild. What if your liquor brother said a post ya? What if your bro dead in another crime video ya? What if your little sister fi take a one pic and it a put up everywhere like it's a poster? Before me share the post the pic, I ask myself what if I nah comment, I nah go click me. Before me ask what if I nah comment, I nah go click me. Before me ask what if so before you share the post the link, just ask yourself what if yeah. When you're there online, make it a new day at the rhyme. Keep up with the time. Broadcasting Commissioner remind you.
Link. All right, greetings. And peace profound, positive vibrations and positive sounds. The chopping block is back in full effect. Tell a friend, tweet a friend, call a friend, phone a friend, neighbor, uncle, auntie, nephew, niece. Tell them we're on, we're back, we're live. Steve Nemard, welcome. Sunny days in the building. Stephen, we see you. You're in the building. Tony Beckford is in the building. Marcia Monroe, you are in the building. Devon McLennan, you're in the building. Chris Fung, I see you, my brother. Chopping block is back in full effect. Our guest is in the building. Well, one of them. I bet you wouldn't guess who is in the building. So we're slated to have Delano Seavright, Mr. Dennis Meadows. You want to take a guess who is in the building first? Who is on time for the block? That's the guess. Who is in, Mr. Rupert Ellis? Rena Williams, I see you. Bridget Foster, what's up? Bridget Watson, you're in the building. Barbara Buchanan, you are in the building. Phone a friend, tell a friend, we're on, we're live. All right, so greetings, everybody. Greetings, and peace, profound, positive vibrations and positive sound. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. As my good friend Cliff would say, let's get to work. This evening, folks, as promised, we are going to be speaking with Delano Seavright. He is the senior strategist and senior advisor to the Minister of Tourism, a man who is no stranger to us. We can always count on him to give us accurate and precise information as it relates to tourism and travel. So as most of you might be aware, within the last week or so, the government did announce that the travel ban on Britain, UK, is going to expire on the 30th of April, and that ban will not be renewed. So in essence, what it is saying is that the ban on the travel from Britain to Jamaica is going to be lifted. And we decide that one of the best persons to shed some light on that would be none other than our friend and Delano Steve Wright. Welcome, Delano. How are you doing?
Good to see you, Chopper. You hear me well?
Very well. Very, very well. Very, very well.
Excellent.
Well, as you know, the hot topic is, well, we want to talk to you deep about tourism and the sector itself overall and how it's been coping with COVID. But, you know, the hot topic question is the reopening of travel from Britain. Talk to us about that, Delano. How are you doing?
Yeah, so I think it's important for people to know
Yes.
that the United Kingdom of December 2020 is not the United Kingdom of May 2021. I mean, I think that's a problem, Chopper. I mean, when people hear the UK, they say, no, it just can't work.
Yes.
And I understand it because the UK also, I think, scored some own goals in how they managed the COVID crisis.
Initially.
Yeah, you remember when Boris Johnson said, oh, there's a UK variant. I mean, there are multiple variants to COVID-19. And really what it means is either they're more transmissible or less transmissible. They're a little bit more deadly or less deadly. It varies. You have a Brazil, you have India, and you have... but it's funny, you have never heard of an American variant. You notice that?
Yes.
You've never heard of an American variant because the Americans don't do that. Anyway, I've never heard it. So the issue that we have is that this ban was put, and it was rightly so because it was a concern and the world got scared. Now everybody is realizing that one, the UK is one of the most vaccinated countries in the world.
Yes.
As of the end of April, 35 million British people have had at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Two, in terms of the hospitalizations and the death rate in the country, it has collapsed by 90+%. So at the end of January, we had about 9,000 deaths, 9,000 people passing away from COVID-related, issues. At the end of January, the last week in January, and then when you compare that with the week of the March 19th, it's 712. That's a 92% reduction in their COVID fatality rate. Beyond that, before anybody can come to Jamaica, as is the case now all over, you have to present a negative COVID test. It's not the most perfect system. I'm sure the one or two people will try and beat the system. But in order to come to Jamaica, you need a negative COVID test. And that is the rule, and that rule will apply to the UK too. And also, Chopper, there are a lot of Jamaicans in the UK, as you know. There are a lot of Jamaicans here who need to get back to the UK. And I'm telling you, for the last several months, there are people who have been pleading. And the Foreign Affairs Minister, I know she's fully cognizant of this because I'm sure she gets a lot of those calls. People who are stuck all over the place, unable to get back home to Jamaica or unable to leave Jamaica to get back to the UK. Right. And these people have work, they have children, they're split, the children in Jamaica, they're in the UK, or the children in the UK, they're in Jamaica. And it's unacceptable. And we have to find a way of
There's also a constitutional issue too, Delano.
Without a doubt. I mean, you can't have people just separated like that. So we're saying not many people travel anyway, Chopper, with this the lift of the travel ban because there are really limited flights to the UK. If you talk to British Airways, they tell you that they're going to operate one flight per week into Kingston starting next week. And that's a plan. And that means you're dealing with only a trickle that you're accustomed to coming into the country. Plus, as you know, and everybody knows, the UK continues to have very strict travel restrictions. So a lot of people want to fly from the UK to other countries, can't fly because their government has taken a zero tolerance approach to travel to an extent. However, they intend to start opening that up as of May 17, and thereon more and more persons, I'm sure, will start traveling. But I think it's important everybody knows that the UK of May 2021 is not the UK of December 2020. It's a completely different UK. It's one of the safest countries in the world now when it comes to COVID-19.
Right. Now let me hasten to ask you though, Delano.
Yeah.
From our end in Jamaica, are we prepared though to handle, as small as that number is in terms of one flight per week? Are we prepared to ensure? Because Mark, you have to remember now, that our very, 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 very first case of COVID-19 came through the UK. So
I know.
it's
and this is why the UK also, I mean, the UK, I think, has just a bad reputation when it comes to COVID because of how everything has come together.
Yes.
They never dealt with it properly in the beginning. Now, I think they've corrected a lot of that now. I mean, in terms of management of COVID, the UK is now seen as a shining star, as one of the countries that is actually effectively managing COVID-19. And I hear people complain about our lockdowns. You see the lockdowns that they have in the UK.
Oh yeah.
I know other people in the UK, and I'm sure you do, and a number of your followers live in the UK.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they, when I say lockdown, they cannot go anywhere. You have to stay in there. And you know what it's like in England to be locked down in your house in England, of all places where you don't have no sun.
You have to start drinking the booze.
you go crazy. You go crazy. Yeah. So, that is where that is. But yes, we understand the concerns and we understand that people are nervous about that. But what we're trying to say to people is that it's not the same. And the truth is, if there's any issue, say there's some concern that the UK is going in the wrong direction, I know for a fact that this government will institute the button without batting an eyelid. But we must also be fair. If we want to hold the UK to such a high standard, then we should probably hold the US and we should just cut all travel altogether.
And hold ourselves too.
In the world.
Hold ourselves too at a high standard too.
Exactly.
Because part of the problem is not people coming in. Most of the problem is us here.
Yes, I know. And the quarantine, I know, is a concern by people and so on. Mm-hmm. But you know what? The good thing is, what we are happy about, certainly for tourism, because we understand we have to balance the public health with the economy. And it's important people don't, it's not something I hear people talk about. Somebody has to pay for life to go on. Somebody has to pay the teachers. Somebody has to pay the nurses and the doctors at the hospitals. Somebody has to pay to maintain the hospitals, to keep them functioning. So you can't necessarily run a broke country and at the same time insisting on the highest levels of public health care. It is impossible. You can't run on zero. So, and it's so rough. I feel it for the Prime Minister, because I must tell you, it's probably one of the worst jobs to have, is to lead a country or to be the minister in any country in the world now. Because you're trying to balance you can't win, because you're trying to balance the public health interest while at the same time realizing that you have bills to pay. All that we have bills to pay.
Right.
So it's a very difficult balance. But I think the government has handled it well. And you know, when I talk to the guys in the UK, Chopper, even they have said, boy, Jamaica is as if to find a way to keep the thing going, keep the death rate low, and God bless if it's still low. And we're sorry about everybody who has a relative or a friend who have passed away from COVID. I mean, to me, it's frightening, and I know people who have passed away, and I've known people who have gotten very sick, and I'm happy you, Chopper, you yourself, you recovered very well, you jump out of it, and that is no doubt a concern for a lot of us. But we're happy though that overall, I mean, Jamaica is lucky. When you see what's going on in India, Brazil, and other countries, you know for a fact that we must have been doing something right, because this is not an easy country to manage. It's not an easy country to patrol. And for us to be holding our own so far is really something that we have to commend the government for.
So Delano, you mentioned earlier that coming in, not just from Britain, but almost every country, you need a negative COVID test in order to land in Jamaica. Now, let's say for Britain, and I'm sort of sticking to UK a little bit, because UK is fresh on the agenda as it relates to the restriction being lifted. Now, if you have a negative test and you board a flight to Jamaica, you get to Kingston, you're on board, and you go through customs, what are the requirements locally? Are you supposed to quarantine? Is there any tests here again?
Yes, so you have to, I mean, I've traveled about a dozen times during the pandemic. which is why Chopper I still don't understand how I never get COVID. I mean, I'm happy I didn't get it, but I don't understand. Anyway, and I know people don't go nowhere and get COVID.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But okay, so the rule is clear. I mean, one, you need a negative test and you need to apply on Jam COVID to come to Jamaica. And I know some of your people have used the Jam COVID.
Yeah.
So Jamaica has one of the strictest systems when it comes to traveling into Jamaica. So much so that American Airlines in Miami has a separate counter to deal with people coming to Jamaica and people going to a country like Chile, which also have a very strict entry protocol system. And I have seen on multiple occasions people get to the check-in counter, don't have no test result because they never know, or they never sign up for Jam COVID because they never know. So I see that all the time. When they get to Jamaica, a Ministry of Health official comes on the flight. He announces as the plane gets to the gate. As the plane gets to the gate, they open the door. The minister will come on board. He says, "Listen, you have to quarantine, follow all our protocols, so on." I mean, Jamaica is one of the few countries in the world where you actually see that kind of public health activism. I mean, there's no other. I've seen. I've done. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't hear it. You come off. You go down the corridor or whichever airport, and then you have to. The public health nurses remind everybody about the quarantine procedures. Eventually get around to the JDF guys and they will take your name and your contact number and ensure that you at least try to abide by the quarantine rules.
Are we still loading the app to track the guests on the system?
Sometimes, I think for the most part, and whenever there are issues, they take the contact numbers and so on. So a friend of mine up to last week got a call. He was shocked. He got a call saying, "Listen, your quarantine period have ended. How do you feel?" Whatever. He was shocked. He said, "Wow, these people really following up." But I also know Jamaicans come and they're not quarantining because some of them say don't make no sense. Some people say them have work to do, them have things to do, whatever. In any event, we'll ask everybody to abide by the protocols as much as they possibly can, because that is how we're going to be safe. But the negative test, the COVID negative test to come in, I think, is a good it's a good obstacle, essentially.
Yeah, because well, that's a major part of it, though.
Yeah, you might miss 10%, you might miss 7%, but for the most part, it's a good way to sift through, because I know people have tested positive for COVID right before they go into the airport to come to Jamaica. The result come on them phone and then positive. They never know they have COVID. They feel good, but they're positive and they can't board the flight with a positive test. So I think that's a good entry protocol that we have instituted.
And it works. It works. It works. You know, our system though, we fall a little bit in the middle of it. When we started out, when COVID started, we were on top of it. I think we faltered a little bit when we opened up and allow persons to come in and say let people use moral suasion, stick to the rules, follow the protocols. But people our locals didn't. I want to take a quick break, Dylan. I want to come back. I want to talk to you a little bit about the resilient corridor. How is that working, and why is it so successful? It seems to me like that's where the good system is. So when we come back, it worked perfect. We want to take a look at that when we come back. So stick and stay. We'll be right back.
Domestic conflicts are not ignored by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, as they can result in serious injury or death.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Constable McIntyre, along with Constable Pierce. We received a telephone call re a domestic dispute at this location. Are you okay, ma'am?
Just me and my husband. We had a dispute. I was asking him some questions, and he got all upset on me.
Yo, when I tell you to stop stressing me out, you're not here, you're not listen.
In these situations, we make sure that all parties involved are unharmed and prevent the situation from continuing or escalating. It's also our duty to inform the disputing parties that counseling is available to prevent a recurrence of the situation. If there is any evidence of harm to anyone, the police have a duty to commence an investigation. Help us to keep you safe. The Jamaica Constabulary Force.
This is what you've been waiting for. A chance to change your point of view. and take the break you deserve at Jamaica's resorts and attractions. When you can open your door to the seaside instead of just outside, where you can change your mask and take a plunge.
Sunshine smiling warm up inside your heart, feeling of pure love. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat, dancing to the beat up inside your heart, heartbeat of the world. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat.
Contact your travel agent today to book your staycation. RediscoverJamaica.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We still have with us Steve Wright, and when we left a while ago, we wanted to jump back into the hotels and the resilient corridors set up by the ministry and the Minister of Tourism. Delano, that seemed to be where the action is, because we seem to have zero cases there, zero breaches, no issues. What's happening?
But I mean, the corridor has worked out very well. So to just backtrack for everybody, last year, of course, we had the COVID pandemic. We decided that we needed to find a way to slowly reopen the tourism sector, and we slowly did that June, July of last year. But in order to do that, we ensured that we had a very tight set of protocols. So the Ministry of Tourism worked with the Ministry of Health and a number of other stakeholders to come up with a series of protocols to ensure that our hotels, our villas, our attractions, and so on are safe, especially in areas where we have a lot of our tourism business: Negril, Montego Bay, Runaway Bay, Ocho Rios, Trelawney, Portland, the coastline, and of course some sections of the South Coast. We came up with a near 200-page document, very strict hand sanitization procedures, mandatory mask wearing procedures, constant cleaning, just constant cleaning, repetitive cleaning. We did a lot of training, so we trained quite a bit of our tourism workers. We trained other persons in the sector. So what we did, we pretty much took a holistic approach, got everybody who is connected directly with tourism, ensure that they understand what the protocols are, what the rules are, and how to execute. And on the bright side, it has worked so far. We have very few cases of COVID-19 in our tourism sector in terms of the hotels. I mean, there's a lot of testing that's done, so we have the statistics, and it's extremely low. And it makes me proud, because you'll have a hotel with 200 guests, and to know that there's no COVID case at the hotel is really something that that we're very proud of.
That's what we are getting. That the hotel sector and whatever the protocols are there seem to be working. Notwithstanding that, though, a month or so ago, we had some situations where postings on social media were depicting images stating that persons were partying in hotels and all that good stuff during the lockdown. You can speak to that. Was that any truth to that?
Yeah, so there was an image that was posted of allegedly of people partying at a pool party at one of the hotels. When we got the facts, because we said, but this can't be real. I said, where is this happening? So we called the hotel in question, called the managers, and they said, no, that's not true. And then they sent us proof, and this was a real property in Montego Bay. They said, Juan Delano, the hotel is closed and has been closed since January of this year, and I think they're reopening now as we speak. They're going to be reopening. Well, they're reopening, I think, tomorrow.
There was a big refurbishing going on there.
So they've been closed, and they said that video or that image that was sent around was from 2019, a pool party from 2019. One of those they call the foam party from 2019. So it does show you how mischievous some people are, because it created one piece of panic out there. People say, but hotel's not running properly. I said, that's not true. It's not true. It is a fake thing. So we're happy to clear the air on that. I mean, sometimes we know that when you're checking in, some persons complain that people are getting alcohol too close. However, every time we have issues like that with TPDCO, and Stephen Edwards runs TPDCO now, and his has really been very vigilant and has been working with the Ministry of Health and their officers around the island, and constantly do inspections of the hotels to see what is happening, ensure that the rules are being followed. So the hotels are on their P's and Q's, and whenever we have issues, we ask people to report it to us, and we'll quickly deal with it as best as possible. a lot of the hotels are still not even going to operate at full occupancy because they still want to allow enough spacing. So some hotels, a lot of hotels are running at 70%. They don't want to go beyond 70% because they want to be able to allow space for the protocols to work effectively. And that's something that, of course, we'll have to review going forward. But that's also a good thing to show how safe things are.
But Delano, I worked in the hotel sector for many years. And one of the things that we grew up understanding in the hotel is that you cannot operate a hotel below a certain percentage, because once you go below 60, 70%, you basically cannot operate.
That's
How
true.
are these hotels keeping the doors open?
Well, the truth is the hotels have been losing, billions of dollars all over the world, including in Jamaica. It has been a real pain. The banks, they give credit to the banks for believing in the tourism sector. They have a lot of the tourism debt and they're holding on to that. Of course, as one Spanish hotelier said to us, Chopper, he went to the bank and said, boy, what you want me to have 60 hotels around the world and not one of them open? And if you want, you can just take it. And the bank said, no. We're not taking that. Just calm down and we'll try and work with it, because you know why when they seize the hotel them. So
and do what with it?
Everybody is trying to work. The hotels have to service them loans. Give credit to a lot of the hotels also maintain a lot of their staff. And I really want to congratulate the hoteliers who are the heart to keep a lot of their staff on, even when there's no tourists coming in, and paying out of pocket. I know some hotel owners will pay out of pocket to keep staff on board, even if it's 50% or 60% of the salary. So we're very, very, very happy about the care. And of course, Minister Clark, Prime Minister et al., what they did with the care package last year, the care program, was really, an amazing stimulus package for a lot of people in the sector. But we don't have limitless money, so we need to really get back to business while maintaining the protocols, Chopper.
It's a very delicate balance, and you have to give credit to the Prime Minister and the team who is striking that balance. But to jump back a little bit to travel, Delano, as it relates to vaccine and vaccination, what are the protocols in terms of persons getting full vaccine and coming through the system? How does that work?
So they will update that now. So as it stands now, even if you're fully vaccinated, you must present a negative COVID test before traveling to Jamaica. That's the case. Now, we have seen the reports. We know that the CDC and many other countries now are moving in the direction of saying, listen, you don't need to do a test to travel and so on. So I believe the government has been discussing that. I believe it's now at the level of cabinet, and I believe we may have an update on that soon. I can't give a date, but I'm sure the Prime Minister, the Minister of Health, and other key officials have been discussing that. I've gotten the question a lot of times, why is it that I'm fully vaccinated and I have to test before coming to Jamaica? That's just the case. And the US hasn't even changed their policy yet. Even if you're fully vaccinated, to get to the US, you still need to present a negative test. But however, even the US is reviewing that position, and I frankly believe by summer or even before summer, they're gonna make a change of policy as it relates to people who are fully vaccinated, because that's what the whole vaccinations are about. The vaccinations are about ensuring that people are safe, that we have we pretty much are safe and can't, or the chances of spreading or transmitting or acquiring COVID is significantly reduced once you're vaccinated. So I know a lot of people are saying, oh, why am I vaccinated and I still can't travel and be free? It's going to take time, people, because we have a lot of people still not vaccinated. So the world is being very cautious. But I think it's a position, Chopper, that our government is looking into, because I know a lot of, there are some Jamaicans who are fully vaccinated, including myself. Yeah. And I know it can be a challenge for persons who want to travel and to want the freedom. And I see it happening, Europe and the US is working a deal. And I think by summer, they're going to allow fully vaccinated people to travel freely between the continents. And I think there's going to be a lot of that going forward. Even the cruise lines, in order to board a cruise ship in the summer, they intend to start sailing in the summer, Chopper. You have to be fully vaccinated. That
was my other question to you, because Jamaica rely on cruise ship for a significant part of our tourism revenue. I mean, that sector is totally wiped out. How is
Totally
the timing?
right.
And are there any? Can you give us some dates and possible time when that will be?
So you
starting?
remember last year, the cruise ships, as you know, Chopper, remember January, February last year, the cruise ships got a bad name when it came to
Yes.
COVID.
They
I
were
mean,
I can't even say it.
no, and I feel even some of those workers, and I know some of them, some of these workers stayed on those ships for months, sailing.
Come on.
nowhere, you know.
No one country would even accept them.
Jamaica not taking you, America not taking you, England not taking you, Philippines not. I mean, these people sit on these cruise ships for months in cabins, sailing all over the world, and nobody taking you.
Just
because
staying out in the sea, in the waters.
a bad rap. Thankfully, things have changed now. I mean, they've been bleeding, and even the U.S. government has been very, very stern with them. There was a breakthrough last week where the CDC announced that, okay, fine, let us set out a set of protocols that we believe can work. And among those protocols is that everybody who goes on the ship, or almost everyone who goes on the ship, including the workers, must be fully vaccinated. So for Jamaica, we expect to see some startup of cruising in the summer. We even have a home port in arrangement with Norwegian Cruise Lines that should start on August 7. What that means is that the ship will basically be based in Montego Bay, and persons will fly from the United States and other countries into Montego Bay. Then they will be transported from the Mobay airport to the ship in Mobay, where they board the ship, and then the ship go on a 7-day cruise around the Caribbean.
So we're now a home port.
So we are now.
in all of this, we're coming out looking good.
Exactly. So that's going to be 2,000 vaccinated tourists coming through our airport, being transported by JUTA and all our ground transportation people, because a lot of people, to the ports and back. So it's a good opportunity for Jamaica. But again,
and I think hotels too. And the hotels will benefit significantly too.
Some hotels will benefit because some of these people are going to overnight, of course, at hotels in order to get on the ship in the morning and that sort of thing. So it's really going to be a huge deal for us. And there's another shipping company that's in discussions with the Port Authority and the Ministry of Tourism that wants to do cruising around Jamaica. We can't announce the name yet, but it's a luxury ship company, very affluent guests, about smaller ships, but about 900 affluent people. And the ship will go from Mobay to Ocho Rios to Port Royal, back around to Montego Bay. So we have some nice things happening. We have some nice things coming, and we hope that COVID will continue to bless us that way, where we can get some innovative things going, because that is something that people talked about. Nobody was willing to do it. Because, you never had to. But now the guys look and say, you know what? Why don't I just do a cruise around Jamaica? Let me just do that. And those are discussions that we're having now.
That now give us some opportunity to start looking at what you and I spoke about a few years ago, which is looking at destinations within Jamaica. Marketing Jamaica has 14 different destinations.
Correct, Chopper, because even for the cruising thing, we have been looking at Black River as a potential for cruise tours. I mean, Black River is beautiful. There are a lot of attractions, Treasure Beach, Black River area.
Holland Bamboo in St. Elizabeth.
Holland Bamboo, the Appleton Rum Tour, the Maroons, the Maroon community.
Yes, that's my community,
Magati, JC people, everything. I mean, there's so much beauty on that side of Jamaica.
Yes.
That we believe that's something we can start to really seriously look at, because that area, I'm telling you, is going to develop, and it's going to develop nice. We have good MPs down there with Frank Witt and Floyd Green, and then JC and our good friend there in Northeast. Slowly, man. My God, what a phenomenal guy. He's one of the hardest working people I know, honestly.
Yeah, man. Very hard work.
There's a lot of potential, and I think what we are doing in Tourism Chopper, we have used the time, this COVID time, to discuss the resetting of tourism and resetting things and looking at things completely in a different way. And I'm telling you, some nice developments are coming, Chopper, that we're very happy about.
Absolutely. Nightlife plays an integral role in your tourism sector. And the nightlife people, them are baldy-lana. Them say, boy, we are getting beaten. And we were the first, they're saying, look, we were the first to close, and we have been neglected over the time. What is happening as it relates to entertainment?
I mean, that's rough. I mean, I know Minister Grange and the entertainment. It's the problem with entertainment, unfortunately, especially when it comes to the crowding.
Yes.
So
difficult to
I keep
control.
telling guys, a hotel is sort of different. You could have 400 people on hotel property, but some of them in them room, some of them on the beach, some are dining, some playing tennis. You know, so you're spread out. People spread out all over the place. The worry with the party is that you have 400, 500 people together drinking.
But why you put a limit on the amount of persons to each party?
Well, exactly. So, I mean, I've heard Kamal Banki, Andrew Bellamy, Councillor Bellamy, and a number of others. Well, Joseph Bogdanovich and these guys have put forward proposals. But I can see the problem from a public health point of view. You see, all right, so the thing, you know, people talk about the curfew, say, why all these nighttime curfews and, you know, COVID spreading the data? You know? And I mean, we must be honest with ourselves. I mean, I remember I got a bar before the curfew thing really, and you know, it's hard to keep your mask on and drink your rum at the same time.
You can't drink your rum and keep your mask on, man. And you can't control people at night.
Yeah, man, the socialization at night.
That's the purpose of it.
Is different from the day. Because at night you want to unwind and relax and just have a good and play some domino. So it's a challenge. A vaccination chopper is really, I think,
the answer to that.
Yeah,
so,
man, no doubt about it.
So if there were
some pilots, and we need to, because the entertainment is very important for Jamaica.
And that's what I was about to say to you. Why not try a couple of clubs? Say, look, let us put a system in place where vaccinated people can come in, and you know, you limit the numbers and see how it works. Because what we're picking up out there in the Delano is that these people in the entertainment sector believe that they are just wiped out there. Nobody cares about them. There's nothing geared towards getting them back on foot.
It is a legitimate concern. I know it's hard because I've even seen where the churches, you know, the churches want to get back to business, but again, a church, 400 people worshiping, you know, at church you're close, you're with your family, you're worshiping God together, and you're singing and you're praising, and you're giving, you know. Let me tell you, as I say, I don't want to be Prime Minister of Jamaica. I wouldn't want to be Minister of Health, because these are questions that are. Look at the funeral situation. You know how we cherish our funerals and our 9-night and our grave diggings in Jamaica, Chopper. But I understand the concern, because you go to a grave digging at St. Mary, it's 400 or 500 people at the grave digging.
Just like that.
I mean, for hours. So it is hard, but I understand the concern, because again, it gives the impression that the small man not getting the support like the quote-unquote big man, and I know that's the concern. And trying to balance it is difficult, but I agree with the Chopper. We have to at least do some test runs.
Yeah, man. Try. I would suggest.
Man, you have good promoters out there. I would test it and say, try a party, no more than 150 people.
And see how it works. I think they will do what they have to do to maintain, because they want it to continue.
Correct. You know, get your straw, you try to maintain them, find a way. And let's see if we can adjust how we party. I know it's hard, and some people probably hearing and say, no man, it's joke business, that man. You cannot let Jamaican people use for party at night time with COVID.
We have to try, because that's entertainment. And not only that, you know, that entertainment, the jerk chicken man, all of these people, and what a lot of people fail to recognize is the amount of money that circulates in that little niche market right there.
When they have the round robbing them, when you have people throw partner for party, I mean, the party is rooted in the fabric of Jamaica. By the way,
if the round robins, you know, if the round robins, and from a political standpoint, if the government were to say, let's bring these round robin people in, for example, in Central St. James, let's find all the people who involved in a round robin, get them together, sit down and say, look, 60 persons per round robin, and it has to be outdoor where you can, you know, proper ventilation, and just try it. Let it not be said that the government has not done nothing for these folks, and that's what they're saying.
I try, and I think you should probably bring Babsy on, Chopper.
It will be good. I know you can make a good call for me, you know.
I know the issue, you know, because I know the public health people say, but hold on, you know, if you go start talking about round robin, I can't tell the churchman saying can't have him service.
The churchman can too, you know. The churchman can too.
The funeral. I
And the
can't
churchman should.
football match them.
Yeah, but see, that is what we have to do. We have to start now, get back to normalcy. But you start with the pilot, you start with the church, you tell the church that look, you can only have 40 persons in here or 50, and it has to be outdoor where it's properly ventilated.
Discipline. Enforcing that now. Enforcement. There's a lot of work for the police also.
No, but I tell you something, this second round of lockdown, the police checked up the enforcement and it yielded a lot of results.
They did.
We don't have a problem with policies. The policies are here.
Yes, there is. And I know I think we should definitely try it. And I know Minister Grange and others have been studying the proposals. They know the difficulties, and I know the Ministry of Health. I must say, our Ministry of Health is very firm about everything. So much so that we have had disagreements.
Let's just try 14. We have 14 parishes. Let's try 14. 14. Give 14 permit, try 14 pilot and see how it works out.
Correct. And I've seen many countries and we can learn from other people. I mean, some countries have tried to balance it, and I've seen where some have been successful, and then of course there are others that have failed. I mean,
absolutely. New Zealand failed.
New Zealand failed. I mean, look at Trinidad. Trinidad has listen, by the way, I want people to know Trinidad's borders have been closed since the end of March 2020. Over a year. And Trinidad right now is going through a surge in COVID cases. So hardly anybody is coming into Trinidad, hardly anybody is going out of Trinidad, because they have literally locked their borders down from March of last year when the pandemic officially started. And what that says to you, that even if you shut down your borders to international travel, it is very likely that you could also have cases of COVID and so on. That's mushrooming in the country, just like New Zealand. When New Zealand locked down tight and all of a sudden 2-3 men have COVID. How this happen? It's a difficult balancing act. So even in Trinidad, when I saw the surge in Trinidad, I said, look at that. And I know they have the Venezuelan issue and other issues, but it just tells you that sometimes no matter what you do, it's hard to...
It's like down if you do, down if you don't.
Exactly. And that's why even Minister Tufton and others have said, listen, don't necessarily look at the cases. Yes, you should. If you see a dramatic increase in cases over a certain period of time, yes, you should be concerned. But look at the fatalities. Look at how many people are actually dying from COVID. And right now, Jamaica, along with other countries of the Caribbean, have managed to keep our numbers low on a per capita basis. I think what happened in Europe, Chopper, and North America, the weather, I think definitely, but also they have older populations. I mean, Italy have a lot of people over 80 years old. I think 20% of the population is over 75. So obviously, they will be impacted in a worse way than us. So yeah, that's where we are now.
I know you don't have a lot of time. I'm gonna cut you loose in a few. But a quick question for you. When this whole COVID situation started, as a matter of fact, when the vaccination program starts and we were slated to receive our first chance of vaccine, there were some talks about a partnership with the hotel sector. For example, how could hotels set up a system where they can vaccinate their staff on site in the hotels? How that?
There were discussions. There were a lot of discussions between the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, ourselves, and the Ministry of Health as it relates to vaccination. As a matter of fact, many hotels have offered to source their own vaccines, so that we can at least vaccinate staff and vaccinate the families of staff. The problem everybody is having, they can't get the vaccines. So some of the richest companies in the world are some of these hotel groups, and they are trying to get vaccines and can't get the vaccine because of the shortage of vaccines in certain countries. Around the world. But the US said them fully vaccinated 100 million people already, yet
I still have millions.
Vaccine. So, say donkey said the world no level. Just like the United Kingdom, Britain has vaccinated more than half of their population, or partially vaccinated more than half their population. So there's still that process, because as you know, hotels have nursing staff, especially the bigger hotels. They have a nursing quarters. So that's something we've been discussing. Again, the problem is the vaccinations. And I'm told, and I'm sure you hear the same, that we're waiting on the US now
to release
to release some supplies to us. India is a very unfortunate situation, because India is the global manufacturer of the most vaccines over the years. And unfortunately, they are going through a surge, and they've decided that them taking care of themselves and can't deal with nobody right now.
Can't beat
And
that.
that hurts our vaccination efforts really badly.
Can't beat that. Delano Steve Wright, as usual, man. Very informative. Yeah. We appreciate you coming through. And thank you so much again.
The listeners can Facebook me anytime and inbox me and I'll answer the question.
Always.
But no, you have to have a negative test. Tell them, everybody have to have a negative. No matter who you are, you have to have a negative. Which is the issue. Some people go to the airport and say, no, but I'm a Jamaican. What do you mean? No, everybody.
Yeah, Delano.
Good.
Good.
All right, Chopper. Thank you.
All right, thank you, man. Good. All right, so there you have it, folks. Delano Steve Wright, and that was very informative. I think the takeaway from that is that you must have a negative COVID test in order to land in Jamaica, which is good. And he spoke about some good things coming on stream. The cruise around Jamaica, a lot of Jamaicans who might want to take advantage of that. The fact that some of those new, one of those cruise lines will be berthing in Jamaica, making Jamaica their home base, which is going to increase travel to us. That's just phenomenal. And lots of new stuff that he's going to announce as well. He spoke about the resilient corridor within the hotel sector that worked perfect. We haven't had any major issues in there. So we have to give some credit where that is concerned. Also spoke about vaccine and the being fully vaccinated, how that will work. Welcome the discussion about the entertainment industry and how that could start a couple of pilot projects to see how it can work, just to get everything back up and running. We were slated to have Dennis Meadows on. Unfortunately, can't get a hold of Dennis. But the journey continues. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to speak my mind on a few issues of minor and major concern. Stick and stay. I will be right back.
Digicel, got a famous self. Healthy, fast and reliable. If your network a hit, make sure you switch. Upgrade, move up, cause Digi never miss. Premium plans, no value for your money. More data for you and your honey. First 2 bills with the month top of your money per credit, so you can chat now. Say Digicel, a famous cell. My Digicel, up on my best friend. D-Music, make you move it. What sports max, my team never lose yet. Let's go send a message from it. 10-way video call with the whole click. How when me done me watch a movie. Super fast internet, that's why we chose it. We no like slow. Upgrade your digital life now. And everything will be alright fast. Digicel, you are the boss. Best plans with the best cost. High speed internet. Quality where you get. We no deal with slow, so no fret. Digicel, killer say you are the best. Digicel, I feel me sell.
Full of flavor, no if or no maybe. Malta, my crave on a daily. I couldn't ask for a better cold glass. Coffee can't pass from this. My Malta, my pocket with me. You know I got it with me. I feel have a bucket for myself. Yesterday the shop locked, so today me come back. 2 new flavors on the shelf. Me say me see it and me grab it and me love it and buy it. My mommy take it and she pull it and try it. She say Malta in the morning, afternoon or night. And she finish it, she don't need no help. Drink them more. Coffee or vanilla, the Jamaican original. Have it with my lunch and my dinner. Ginseng with the ginger, make you settle and you simmer. Good for the baller and the singer. Make you feel good and it tastes real nice. Better when cool, so we put it on ice. Take a sip once, if you take a sip twice. Mother full of flavor for life. Mother full of flavor for life.
My name is Noel Chang. I'm a constable attached to the Mobile Reserve Division and the JCF SWAT team. I've been a member of this team for 2 fulfilling years. The training, of course, would have helped me to grow as well. I find it to be very fulfilling playing an active role in the crime fight and in developing my nation. Join the JCF and start a career.
All right, so welcome back. We are in the final few moments, and I wanted to share my view on a couple of issues, 1 or 2 issues. It's a very delicate issue. It's an issue that nobody wants to touch. But as usual, I don't give 2, let alone 3. And you know what I mean, right? So I can touch any issue because I'm an independent man. I sit independent. When I say independent of Duke Street. All right? Anyhow, it's the issue surrounding the member from Central Westmoreland, where everybody are bombarded because everybody want to hear what me say or what me have to say. Right? Now, remember, we don't support domestic abuse of no sort. Because we already spoke on this program last week and we flesh out some of the realities. And some of the realities was that not just women alone suffer from domestic abuse. Men too. And some of we men won't even talk because, how we are being stereotyped when you talk. So people, man just hold it like a real man and just hold it and get beat down and them just hold it. So everybody want to know what is my. One person asked me today, so what is it? Do you want George Wright to resign? I can't. Why should I want George Wright to resign? Why? Nobody can tell no MP for resigning. No guy. The last time we tried that was under Eddie Siaga. And them expelled a man named Pernell Charles from the party. And what happened after that? They have to sell half of Belmont Road to pay him. Go check the records. They have to sell half of Belmont Road to pay him. Because them tell him them kick him out and didn't have any grounds on which to do so. No, me have put for me look a piece on record. Because since I am forced to. Nobody never vote for me. Nobody never select me to be going to Senate. So me no muzzle by no rule up there, so. Right? So if the party want to silence me, they have to say, come Chopper, come be among us. And at that time, I'll be obligated to keep this zip. So until such time, I will hear my views. Always in a respectable and responsible way. So, back to my good friend, George. Wrong or right? George Wright. George Wright. So everybody now believe half of Jamaica said George Wright must go. Half the George Wright must stay. Some people debate the issue based on video. We're not going to debate no issue based on the video, because video is the least. We don't need to discuss no video. When somebody come to me, oh, no, George Wright, the politics, me shut them down. Because that's not a debate. We could debate the facts. We could debate the fact that George Wright made a report say him get beat up, abused by a woman. And we could debate the fact say a woman made a report alleged that George Wright beat her up. So there's 2 reports. And the 2 reports came in around about the same time when the video released. So what so coincident? All right? So we'll put that to the side. Now we could deal with whether or not a criminal case is there. The police say them don't have no case. And my position is, if the police have no case, then there's simply no case. Because there's under the Constitution, there's only one entity in this country that holds the power of arrest, and that is the police. And anytime the police tell you that he cannot put a case together to bring it to court. That's the end of the matter, according to the what's the name of that former senator AJ Nicholson. But him name not so good for call now either. Him name not so good for call now, you know. Come to think of it, that's not a very good name for call at this time. But since me not at Belmont Road, I kind of catch a Belmont Road, look at it, my name there on paper up there. But since me not at Duke Street, coming to got Parliament on Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday, unless me get invited to the gallery, and me not got Senate, so me not obligated. If you know why me keep silent, say come Chopper, come sit among us. At that time, I will zip it. Until then, I will use my space responsibly and respectfully. Now, back to the matter, because them say me always draw it out. So I don't have any basis on which to dictate to George Wright whether or not he should go. I post a picture of Bruce Golding, and I caption the picture by saying, Bruce Golding tender his resignation at a time when the Jamaica Labour Party was bleeding politically, and he tendered his resignation to stop the hemorrhaging of the party. People took that to believe that I am suggesting that George Wright should resign. No way. At the same time, when I posted that picture, I posted another picture of Pernell Charles. And I said Pernell Charles was forced out the party with no solid foundation to do so, and he sued the Jamaica Labour Party and won handsomely. But nobody saw that. Everybody saw the one with Bruce Golding and used that to say that I'm suggesting that George Wright should resign. Nobody, including the most honorable Brogard, cannot tell George Wright he must resign. There's nothing in the Constitution that can remove a sitting member of Parliament except the people go to the ballot and move him. George Wright is God down at Central St. James, Central Westmoreland, until the people same figure. However, if George Wright want to be a Bruce Golding and come back to become one of the stars within the GLP, he could do what Bruce Golding do. He could, but that would have to be on his own merit. Nobody can force him to do it. I can't force him, nobody can force him. And as it stands now, there's no legal grounds on which to force him either. No, people are saying that the party should do and the party should do. The party have gone the limit. The party has done perhaps more than the party should do. Ask me, if I were somebody who advised George Wright, what would I say to Mr. Wright? MP Wright, I know you up on the video. I know you. So simply come out and tell the people, say, I know you. That will end that part of the conversation, you know. However, the perception already exists. How do we deal with the perception now? We deal with the perception by saying to the people exactly what the party did now, which is remove George Wright from the committees of Parliament, ask him to sit as an independent, and ask him to go on a leave of absence. If all those three things were initiated by George Wright himself, we would not have this conversation today. And that is part of the problem. People say to me, oh, silence is golden. Silent also means consent. So we can conveniently use these little terms, but we forget some other important terms. Silence means consent just as much as it means golden. So we need to be very, very careful. No, as I said to you before, I'm only voicing my opinion because I am close to the politics and may have a say, may have a voice. And me always encourage people to use the space that you occupy on social media, use it for good. Now use it to tear anybody down. There's also another side of my argument that says, now what if George Wright were to step aside? Eh? We still have 2-3 persons sitting on the opposition side. Remember, you know, the Parliament of Jamaica is not just GLP members. The Parliament is made up of GLP and PNP. Well, no, it have one different P because George Wright now want to look a box over there so by himself. So we don't know what kind of P him be right at this moment. But George Wright, he don't want to look a box over there, so them call for him box. What? Independent P, something like that. So GLP, PNP, and George Wright P are 3 parties that they know according to how they have it laid out. Right? So I'm simply saying, if all 3, and let us narrow it down to 2, GLP, PNP, what goes for the GLP members should go for the PNP members. We have at least two members of the PNP now sitting in Parliament. Sitting in Parliament who have had similar situations, similar allegations, similar charges brought against them for domestic abuse. Natalie Nita Headley slap a man in the face. But because a woman do it, I don't know, a man was made to be slapped. Was brought to court. I don't know how that part work out, but them shoot some money out of the table and give the man and tell him, say, if you calm down. Or then threaten him and say, boy, if you ever go to court tomorrow, we'll slap your face off again. We don't know. But the member, just like we're asking for George Wright to come and open his mouth, we should ask those 2 members as well to open their mouth and say something. Michael Phillips. Thank you, sue me. Thank you, sue me. 4. Thank you, sue me. You got a court. It's in a paper. I know me say so. If you sue me, you have to sue the court arbitrary. If you sue me, you have to sue the court arbitrary. Because the court document said Michael Phillips went to court to beat his wife. And I'm simply saying, if we say George Wright must step out and go over the independent car and go hold a seat, then we shouldn't have them the 2 for the opposition. We should have put them in one corner too. What do you think? Me not hear you. Talk me here, man. Let everybody hear you. What you say? They don't want to talk. But listen to me. If we move Georgie and put him in a film little independent box over there, so what is it that's supposed to happen to the other 2 that were allegedly brought before the court for domestic abuse? No, that is not even the real matter. You know. Here's the real crux of the matter. We have a 15-year corruption case in the form of Trafigura. Right? 3 members of Parliament were involved. Portia Lucretia Simpson Miller and Bobby, chairman for life, Pickersgill. Norton Hines and Philip Palwell. 4. 2 of them gone out of Parliament now. So Philip Palwell left in there now. And I'm simply saying, they fought this case all the way to the Privy Council to prevent the Jamaican people from understanding what is happening where that case is concerned. Fortunately, the Privy Council, luckily the Privy Council not set up like the Caribbean Court of Justice with peer lawyer who come from UWI, who them and PGA and all of them went to college together and them a buddy and them could have ruled in favor of the PNP. I'm just to call it like it is, when I lie me I tell. The potential judges that could make up the Caribbean Court of Appeal would be judges that would have been loyal to the PNP. And the line I tell you is a gospel truth. Look at the ages of the judges that slated to go there for the bench. All of them were sent to school under the Castro and Michael regime. And I want me to learn about them, the people, when they reach a certain level in their education, them loyal gone to bed. That's why I tell the GLP party all the time, say, take some people and send them to school. Because when you educate somebody, I'm loyal to you for life. The PNP did that in the 70s, and they're reaping the reward today. So luckily, we still have the Privy Council with some law lords over in London Who don't have no bones with nobody. So when the PNP fought the case and said them don't want it to come out in open court, even though the matter is a matter that affects the Jamaican people, our taxpayer money. In the 1970s, Jamaica received oil from Nigeria. We don't process that sort of crude oil out here. So we sell it on the open market and we contract a company to do the haulage and sell it out and give you a look at something. But I will challenge any good young lawyer now who worth him salt to take that case, go back to the origin of the deal, track it through the Edward Seaga era in the 80s, track it through the Bruce Golding era in the 2007, and track it up till now under Andrew Holness. And I guarantee you that the 18.5 years that the PNP exists, there were tons of discrepancy. $31 million that were given to the PNP as a so-called gift. There's a lot more where that came from. Such a pity I never did well in school and I couldn't pass the bar. But if I had anything named law behind my name, I would spend the rest of my waking hours to pursue that. Because I guarantee you that there's hanky-panky, as AJ Nicholson, but I still can't call her name. The name not clean. It's not a very clean name to call. But if you remind me, we can't call AJ Nicholson name. It's not a clean name to call. Mr. Flexi Rape. You can't call him name. But anyhow, there's hanky-panky. I'm going to come back now to why you see, we gone off in our whole world later, but we're coming right back. We're coming back to who? Philip Palwell. Still sit in Parliament today. Still have a case in court. And the Parliament is supposed to be a land of people with clean hands and pure heart. That's what the Parliament requires now. It requires men with clean hands and pure heart. Because if all of them who in that vote to cut off George Wright neck, they must have been men and women with clean hands and pure heart. So when the cutlass are come down to cut off George Wright neck, I would love to sit somewhere there and see what is it that Natalie Nita Headley is going to do. Is she going to vote, say, yes, kill him? That would have been a suicide mission because it means that she would have forgot too. When the calculator come down from, what's his name? Michael Philip Head. When them call for George Wright, me want to see what Michael are going to do. Because when you cut George Wright, the knife I got stretched right out and cut for him head too. So it must be a suicide man. We need to check the antecedent to see if Michael come forward in the Arab nation and Natalie Detail if them have any ties to Bin Laden. Because they must be suicide people. Because you dare not cut George Wright and you not get cut. Because both of them have the same sin. And the Bible, the good book where you go by. With my good friend here, I always say, my grandmama said the Bible say, he who without sin cast the first stone. So it seems like there's some persons on the opposition side who don't have no sin. So they might cast a whole heap of stone. Well, me I make certain that at the next sitting of Parliament, even though I'm not invited and I'm not among them, but I go in the gallery because the Constitution say, as a citizen, I can go sit in the gallery and watch the proceedings. So the next sitting, I will be there. Because I want to see which opposition have the balls to stand up and call for George Wright head. Me want you call for head, you know. Because at 3-1. Because when you call for George Wright head, we need Philip Palwell head Pamplata. And we need Michael Phillips head Pamplata. And we don't like to hurt women, but Natalie, sorry, your head on a platter too. Make we level the playing field. Make we clean up the Parliament. Make we put decent, law-abiding citizens in there who is clean and pure, as some of these folks are professing to be. Clean and pure. So if we're going to clean it on one side, let's clean it on the other side. Simply put. So the argument come down. We can remove George Wright. The party have done more than they should have done. Because if I was advising George Wright, I would ask my noble party, on what basis do you have me sit as an independent? You see, in all of this, you have to give George Wright some credit, you know. Because him good, because had it been me that ask the question, on what basis do you have me sit as an independent? And I would ask, if I was the opposition, because we are well party now, out of road me there. If I was the opposition, which is almost virtually impossible, improbable, too far-fetched, will never happen. But let's say, for the sake of this conversation, I was the opposition. I would ask the government, on what basis did you suspend that man? Do you have evidence? And if you have some evidence, why don't you turn it over to the police? That's where I would go. But because I'm not sitting among those great men, and I only have this little platform where I can use it respectfully and responsibly, I will just confine myself to this little area. That is my thoughts. I have nothing else to say on the matter. So for all those who are out there peddling the argument that Chopper is fighting out George Wright and Chopper is fighting against George Wright and all that good stuff, now you have my position on the issue. I can't. I would never, ever. George Wright was a guest on this program before he became a member of parliament. We had very good conversations. I will support every single member that is on a ticket for the Jamaica Labour Party. I will give off my support to them 1000%. But those of you who peddling the argument about Chopper and seat, the only seat I want is the one where I sit down in so right now. Because I couldn't function up at that place there called God knows. Because I remember they can't muzzle me. Me speak, and me speak frankly and openly. So me no want a seat. So all of who are run about seat, all of them MP there, who are run around things say Chopper, look, me no want a seat, me good. So no, me not gonna call it there because them get, hey, them the MP there, they never call it there, you know, brother. Some of them never want to see me in the district. All of them live down barn there. You can't go there. I love this. But even if me live down barn, we can't go there because they see me run as a seat. But me don't want to see it, me good man. When the time comes, and if God bless me to go for God knows on an invitation, I will go there. I will view the proceedings, like I said, from the gallery. That's good enough for me. I'm good being a supporter. I'm good giving my assistance in any way possible, and that is where it stands. So for those I just wanted to clear that up so people know where my position is. If George Wright wants to be a Bruce Golding, he can. And if he wants to be a Pernell Charles and Sue, he can. The ball is in his court. The party can do nothing. The party have gone above and beyond what they can legally do. And even what the party have done so far, the party is still not standing on any solid foundation. But the party bend backward to sort of appease the Jamaican people, to prove to Jamaica that they're a party of morals. Only if the opposition would take a page out of Andrew Holness' book and remove the three that have case to answer and who have answered to cases before. If the opposition could just take a leaf out of Andrew Holness' book, perhaps there would be hope for us in God knows. Until such time, Chops speaks his mind.